I have some exciting news to share. I just quit my job a few weeks ago. Basically, we're going to be traveling, and I kind of want to take you through some of the reasons that led me to this decision. If you're thinking about something similar, you can kind of weigh your options based on how I made my decision. So yeah, let's get to it. But first, let's make a little coffee. All right, we're back. We got some coffee. I won't show you the well, I'll try to show you the latte art. It's basically not art. I haven't mastered that. Maybe in a few years, I'll be able to show you some sort of cool art on this channel. But so let's talk about, so I want to first give you a little bit of history, just get to know me a little bit better. I've been working in digital marketing since I graduated college. I've been working basically 6 or 7 years, I think, something around there. I've been working in tech companies, mainly doing their digital marketing. So like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google Ads, that kind of thing. And, I've been really fortunate. I started with a pretty median salary, but then in LA, and then I moved up to San Francisco, and that's where I am right now, and was able to drastically increase my income just based on what the market was paying for, basically, with these bigger tech companies. So basically, I've been really fortunate in that way. I've been able to, while increasing my income, keeping my expenses relatively low. So with that sort of discipline over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been able to save up a decent amount of money. And that kind of gets me to my first point I want to make about this whole decision, is that I'm not coming at this decision from a financial standpoint of like weakness. I'm actually, if you're thinking about doing something like this at all, your financial position, it has to be like a cornerstone of your decision. All of the things that you're going through in your job, why you hate it or whatever, is it stress related to work? Is it a terrible boss? Whatever it is, I personally believe if you go on a career break, if you quit your job and take a couple of years off, whatever the case is, to go travel, to start your own business, if you don't have a combination of either side income coming in right now or 1 to 3 years, let's say, of expenses in your bank account that you can rely on, especially if the stock market crashes or anything like that, you need to have that security where instead of work-related stress, you're going to have money-related stress if you go into this without properly planning financially. So what were some of the reasons that led me to want to quit my job? I'm just gonna name off a few off the top of my head. Basically, having a boss. I just don't like to have a boss. I want to be in control of my own life. I want to be in control of what I work on, when I work on them, those things. And I just don't want to be having to check in with somebody especially if they micromanage you all the time. Another reason, which kind of relates to that in some ways, is just having freedom or control over your own time. So, you have a specific amount of hours in the day and then the week, and most jobs contribute 40 to 50 hours of that. Maybe if you're lucky, you're working from home where it's like not, actually 40 hours a week, that's great. But it still means I can't go and run at 11 a.m. when I naturally would want to. And, I'm had my breakfast and I've had a nice relaxing morning, and then I might want to go work out. I can't just go and do that with a normal job. There's meetings, deadlines, and all this kind of stuff. And then by the time it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I'm so tired mentally that I don't, I just make some excuse or end up not going and working out. Another thing that I want to mention that kind of I've started to notice in the past year or 2 years is that as I've improved on my financial journey, my financial status, whatever the case is. And by no means am I like super wealthy or anything. I just mean I have a very strong sense of what my budget is. I have, I know exactly how much I'm going to spend in a given year within a couple grand. As I'm more and more confident in those of tracking, my financial progress and my financial being, it's actually giving me more confidence to take a risk like I'm about to take to go travel for 6 months to a year, and take a career break or even and start new businesses and that kind of thing. So that has actually led me to be able to think in terms of this, of making a decision like maybe you're thinking about making. And the other thing is actually, as not to bring it back to money in all ways, because that's not truly what it's all about, but it is one of the focuses. But as you get more money, I've found that the motivation to be doing something that I'm not all that passionate about, digital marketing is interesting to me. I enjoy it. I'm good at it. So there's that, but it's not my true, these aren't my true passions. When you get more money and more options, the things that aren't really your passions become less and less of a, you see them as more of just a job and a chore in some senses, because 5 years ago when I had zero money, there was no option. I had to work, or move back into my parents' house. Like, there was no other option. There's no time to go out and risk it all when you only have $5,000 in your bank account. Now things have changed, and the motivation has gone away from just working because I need the money to my motivation now is, okay, I don't need so much money right now. I can handle, a year of travel and exploring different options. So now my motivation to work at this job is even less, if that makes sense. So before you up and quit your job, you need to have at least, let's say, 1 year of expenses. First of all, if you don't know what you're going to spend in a year, that's a first problem that you need to tackle. You need to start budgeting and look back at 6 months of expenses, and then you can, project what a given year looks like for you. If it's, let's just say it's 30,000. Before I would take a career break or any sort of major travel or any entrepreneurship, I would make sure I had at least a year of expenses. And that's as the base minimum. Now, if you had also some side income that, if let's just say your expenses are 30,000, that's, driving 10,000 of side income a year that you can account on, that changes the equation. Maybe you only need 8 or 6 months of expenses in addition to that side income. I think you have to balance what you think is you just need to figure out your risk tolerance. I personally would rather have over a year of expenses and some side income. For me, I do have a little bit of side income, but it is, it's rocky. It's digital marketing on the side, and the clients can come and go, and they need me for 3 months, and then they don't for a little while, and they might need me. So I'm not really counting on that. If I were you, I would look at your situation. If you have 2 to 3 years of expenses that you can, in a bank account, I think you're good, and you should take the risk, especially if you're thinking about starting a business. That to me is great. If you had 3 years, if you can't get something going in 3 years, it's probably not going to happen. That's my personal thing and, opinion. And, maybe then you can fall back on going back to a normal corporate job. So there's one last thing I want to talk about before I let you go. That was kind of like so all of this talk, and I've been thinking about this for 6 months to a year of like taking time off of work and traveling, starting some smaller businesses to hopefully not have to go back to work, in a year. But what actually, there's a lot of, everyone thinks about this stuff, but like what actually makes you take action? Because it's not easy just to tell your boss, hey, I'm out, I don't have really a bunch of, a great other plan, but I'm gonna try things on my own and travel. Or it's not the normal way that people do things. So what led me to actually take action and go through with this was an exercise. I've been working with a business coach. I don't have a business yet besides the side business, side hustle, like digital marketing stuff it's not a true business. It's more freelance stuff. But I've been working with this business coach, and his first thing was, don't start with the idea of a business. Start with the ideal lifestyle that you want to live. And then you work backwards and create a business that fits within that lifestyle. So basically, within probably 8 or 10 different categories, things like health, family, friends, hobbies, spirituality, all of these different things that are like categories of your types of things in your life. Basically, you would write out exactly how your ideal lifestyle would look within those categories. So, and there's a wants and a needs. So, if you really want a Lamborghini and that's your like ideal lifestyle, you write that in there. If you want a 10,000 square foot mansion, you'd want that and write that as a want in there. And for me, as I started writing this, and you'll write I ended up writing around 10 pages in a Google Doc, and you start to understand by rereading, rewriting, editing, exactly what are the most important things in your life. And I found that, yes, there were some cool things that I want, like material objects, but most of the things were related to actually gaining my control over my time back. So it was more like, I want to be spending more time with friends and family during the week. I want to go running at 11 a.m. or I want to go work out at 3 p.m. and I want to, read a book for an hour in the afternoon. Things like that in the park. Go hang out in the park with my dog, go on walks and not feel work-related stress from meetings and that kind of thing. After I did this exercise, I also did one other exercise, which I thought was actually, in some ways, I'm a very visual person. This was actually even more interesting to me because I basically took a week, like in Google Sheets, just made like color-coded, Monday through Sunday, a week of 7 a.m. when I wake up to 10 or 11 p.m. when you go to bed. Each hour by hour outlined exactly what my perfect or ideal week would look like. Like, I'm spending time with my girlfriend making dinner. I'm spending time doing hobbies with friends during these hours, and so on. And then when you look at it, you look at like, what are how many blank hours do you have? And that could be where you would, actually work on a business or work in your job. Out of a 40-hour work week, well, no, I should say, so out of the 7 days, I found that I only had, I think it was 26 hours that I could devote to actually working, which to me is obviously, if you look at like a normal contrast of the normal 40-hour work week, there's a big disconnect there. So that's, for me, 14 hours at least that I'm potentially missing out on what I really, truly want to be doing with my life. Obviously, again, coming back to that financial side, most people can't just say, hey, I need to be doing these things for 14 hours more a week, so sorry, I quit. If you're in a good financial spot, think about this as a potential option. If you're not, job, work, business, whatever it is, should fit into your life first, not the other way around. Now, unless you need it to, if you don't have the money to do it, that's one thing. But once you get to a certain financial stability, you can make more aggressive decisions with how you choose to spend your time. And for me, that was really the last straw or the catalyst that said, you know what, I'm good on the money for a little bit. I'm gonna be okay. And I want to start living the exact lifestyle that I've set out to live, shown by doing this exercise. I wrote these X amount of pages of like what my perfect lifestyle looks like. Now I need to start living it. I need to take action to move towards it, because otherwise it's just a dream, and it'll always just be a dream if you don't actually take any action to start living it. So that's about all I wanted to share in this video. Thanks so much for hanging around and listening to me talk while sipping on some, cappuccino. Hope to have many more videos, and leave any comments, like this video, subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos. I love talking about finance, personal finance. We're going to be traveling, around the country on a big road trip with my dog and my girlfriend. So I'll have some videos around, travel stuff, the financials around travel, and just general personal finance. That I use personal finance to try to enable me give me the options to live exactly how I want to live. And I think that's all that you could want out of personal finance or money. So, the knowledge that comes with that can allow you to live a life of freedom and a life that you want to live. So that's what's going to be on this channel. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.